Lisa Pelk, host of the show. I own Bella Casa Staging and Redesign in Melbourne, Florida. And today on our show, we have Cindy from Organizing Wizard in Titusville, Florida. She has a professional organizing business, and she is going to be our guest today. And welcome to the show, Cindy. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So excited that you're here. All right. Well, Cindy, tell us a little bit about how you got involved in Organizing Wizard.
Well, it was really by accident. It was not planned. I'd been in the corporate accounting world for almost, let's go over 30 years, and found myself recently unemployed earlier this year. I had a life coach at that time to try and figure out where I wanted to go next. Being, the day-to-day mundane and not meeting as positive people and, credit and dealing with all those negativities. I wanted to do something where I could interact with people, help people, make a good impact on them, and finding myself at home, having a loan so I could declutter my own house gave me the idea to do this as a full-time profession.
Very nice. So,
yeah.
Well, I'm very glad that you're doing what you're doing because you're really, really good at it. So tell us a little bit about what services you provide.
All right. Well, we do anything for home organizing, business organizing, whether it's just a small project within your home. If you have a storefront business, we can come in and organize your storefront, your stock room, a warehouse. If you're a home-based business, or even just a service provider with an office and staff, we go in and organize, closets, your workspaces, help you analyze your workflow, where you're spending too much time, whether you're spending too many steps doing things, and help maybe give an outsider's view and perspective on how to save time, which saves you money and makes you money.
Yeah, that's great. So you basically do personal and business, small, no jobs too small, no jobs too big.
That's it.
Help get everybody, organized and
dig deep and throw it out.
Yeah. So how do you think organizing a small business helps it become profitable?
Well, as I said, it's saving time and money. It's every minute of the clock costs you something. And if you can start out and think before you leap kind of thing, well, if you think about what a project that you have to do, maybe make your steps on how to do it, and then go from there. You can think of ways to not have to double back and do things twice, or just have a path on how to do something. Sometimes people can't do that, visualize it, they can't see it, so they hire an organizer to help them do that.
Great. So thinking about the process that you use from the beginning to the very end, so it's really kind of like a life cycle. And once you guys figure that out, from, a phone call comes in to you get the job, to destaging, to restocking your shelves on your warehouse, I think Cindy can help you with that. Like, what are the right steps, the order of the steps, and then also organizing each of those steps, because each of those steps are really a big chunk of the business. And starting out with, the office or the admin piece of it, which none of us creatives people like, but that's a very, very important piece and the foundational element of a successful, profitable business. So where do you think that a small business should start on their organizing journey? I mean, I kind of, alluded to it a little bit, but I'd like to know what you think about where does somebody start?
Well, they have to identify their problem areas. Whether it's the way they present themselves as far as a visual, if they're a storefront, nobody wants to walk into a business for whatever service they're providing if you've got papers and piles all over the place. That presents itself right there, that you're not organized, that you're not focused as a business. And is that really a thing that you want to portray? So you want to, and those are small things that a business can do. You come in for a couple of hours and not to detract from the ongoing business at hand, and help them identify what their areas are and just straighten out their lives, kind of thing. Have your employees engaged. It starts at the top. So, management has to say, okay, I know that we need to make a change and we're all in this together, kind of thing. it's everybody's mess. It's everybody's clutter. In effect, it's everybody's business, because without that flow of finance and everything else, nobody's going to have a job. So you want to improve it, whether you're the manager or you're the employee.
Yeah, and that's a good point. When you said finance, what came up in my mind was, are you, hunting down getting paid? Are you having issues invoicing? Are you, is that taking you a longer time than it needs to take? Or is it a streamlined process? So really taking a look at those things is a really good advice, and sharing it with your team. When you're just starting out, not everybody has a team, but you are the team, and it needs to be easy for you. And another really interesting fact that I've learned is, when you're trying to teach somebody or hand over the reins, and you're taking them through what you want them to do for you, if your process isn't organized, or if your warehouse isn't organized, or if you don't even know how you're doing it and it changes every time, then the person you're trying to teach is going to be really confused and waste a lot of time. So coming up with really getting your house in order, both from an administrative standpoint and a warehouse point of view, it really, when you think in those terms, if it helps you figure out what your process is, because when you try to teach it to somebody else, you realize if it's confusing and convoluted, then the person is not getting it. Then you have to go back, and this is where Cindy can help come in to say, all right, well, that doesn't seem very clear and organized. What if you did step 5 and 6 up at step number 2 and 3? So, that's looking at the process and the finances and the people part of it as well. So that's really good advice. What does your workflow look like when you get a new client? Let's just start there.
If it's a phone call, which most of the time it is, I very broadly ask, what is the purpose of you getting organized? Is it, are you moving, or are you just trying to clean up, recondition a space that maybe, your kids have moved out, their bedroom, you don't need it anymore. You want to make it into a craft room. What are you looking, what do they see their end result, what it has to be? Then addressing, with the child, with why they haven't been able to do it themselves. Is it because they just don't know where to start, which a lot of times it is, that you get that overwhelmed feeling. You walk into the room and it's so much easier just to walk out and shut the door. And so I get that feel by having that conversation with them, is where is their mind at? Are they going to be connected with that? Is it going to be a struggle for them to make the decision to donate it, throw it out, pack it up, give it to the kids, whether it has a purpose in where they're re-envisioning the room for. So I get all that from the phone conversation. Sometimes I will send them an assessment to do on their own if it's going to be a larger project. And it's like a self-evaluation, and have them go through it. A lot of times I won't have them send it back to me. I'll just have them fill it out. And when I get there, I'll take a few minutes while I'm walking around, looking at that and kind of comparing what they said their assessment was of a space to what I'm really visualizing, and see, kind of, were they really honest with themselves on that space area. Rest with them whether, you have to go a little easier, or whether you can give some tough love.
So once the questionnaire is filled out, so it sounds like you get a phone call, and then you kind of identify where you need to insert yourself and where they're at from an emotional standpoint. And you send them a questionnaire sometimes, and sometimes you just ask them questions. Once you get there and you've identified all of that, you have all your information. What is the next point in your work?
We confer on, when they want it done, how I kind of give them an idea of how long it's going to take, whether, if you're getting somebody that wants like 5 rooms done, or 4 rooms, or 4 areas done. Okay, are we doing this in one whirlwind swoop that I'm just going to, give them one lump sum price, or whether I'm going to break it down because, I want to just do this bedroom this week and maybe have you come back next week and do another. We don't charge by the hour. We charge by the project. So that's why the assessment is so important. And and the visual is so important before I even give the customer the price, because I want to be fair not only to them but myself as a business owner, that I'm giving a fairer price for my services.
So once you get the call, you could do the assessment, you give them a price,
Mm-hmm.
and then I assume the next thing is that you book the job.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so you go in and you do the job, and that could manifest in all different ways, I would imagine, depending on what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then what do you do after the job is done?
I follow up with them.
Phone call, email?
I follow up with an email, and I do periodic phone calls. It wasn't an overnight journey that they got to that position where they wanted then to have it done. So it's very easy to fall back into it.
Sure.
So kind of make a, maybe once a month or, every 3 weeks or so. Do that for a couple of times just to kind of say, how you doing? Is there a challenge? Are you falling back into that old routine kind of thing? And after a while, you kind of get, okay, they're very mindful of the work that it took to get that room done, and they're okay. So it's kind of like a support system for a time being, until you know that they're okay. They're not gonna slip back. Kind of
Yeah,
thing.
and I would imagine that this is a good repeat business, because kind of like we talked about yesterday when we were doing the garage, Cindy helped me do my garage and she did a great job. And, I called it pockets of organization. So I go through my whirlwind of organizing. And in your situation, Cindy, it'd be a client that you've already helped. And, in 6 months or yearly to, run a special or follow up and say, checking in, just, we can help you with your organizing your Christmas decorations, or because you don't always stay organized. It's a lot of work to stay organized after you've already done and got everybody back to center. And so good for you, because it's repeat business if you keep on those people. But so it sounds like a pretty similar process and a workflow to how the home staging world works. We get a phone call and we have an intake form, much like you do. And so for a design project, we would send them a questionnaire. If it's just a staging project, you in the intake form ask those questions on when they're going to sell. Is it occupied? Is it vacant? To know kind of where to go. You do an estimate either online, or you can actually do a property review and meet the client. And then after that, you book the job, hopefully, and then do the job and clean up the job and rinse and repeat type of a thing. So yeah, very similar. So how do you go about getting new clients?
I get in my car a lot of times and just drive around. I always have my cards with me. I always have various brochures, flyers that I have, whether it's for, a home business, a business, somebody needing their home done, for seniors. I have all kinds of those kind of things. But I also do local advertising. I currently have ads going in everythingbrevard.com magazine. I do that. I belong to the Chamber of Commerce here in Titusville, which has a great support system. People, when they call in, they have a website in Brevard County. We're in it for the business, not for the side job to help somebody out as an individual might. They call themselves organizers, and not to take away from them, but they're not in it 24/7.
So what about your website? Do you have a website, and do you do social media marketing? Great.
We have a Facebook page, Organizing Wizard FL. I do post every Monday morning, tip of the week, so that I subscribe to quite a bit of tip kind of things for organizing, and I'll read through them there, and I'll say, this is the time of the year, maybe for Christmas, tips on what to do, planning for the holidays, and little just things that, some people might not think of, or because it's not right in front of them. Oh yeah, gosh, that's a good idea. I forgot about doing that kind of thing. So it's a way for people to engage in doing that. And I post it on a lot, not only on my own Facebook page, but I share it to other Facebook pages that are interested in my services. So I'm out there. I have my web page. We are currently working on getting all of our before and afters uploaded to that. We will eventually be having a blog. That's another thing that I have working on.
And what about strategic partnerships? How do you feel about partnering with other businesses that are related to yours?
Oh gosh, gosh, that is immense, because nobody wants to have to make 10 phone calls when they're getting ready to move, or they're moving in or moving out of some, or even a business that's trying to do. They want to be able to call somebody and say, hey, I think I need in your instance, your home stager, they call you, they know that they want it staged better. Well, here's a home organizer that that you're working with. And the same thing goes with me. I organize somebody's house. Well, now that I've done that, I really need to have these carpets cleaned, or I need the house cleaned. Well, I have a partner that I deal with that is a cleaning service here in Brevard County, and they're cleaning wizard, as I'm organizing wizard, which is funny because we call it a meeting of the wizards, so that works out pretty good. But they're key. It's not just about the support group networking that you do, but it's the networking of your partners, and it's a lot. Sometimes it's an exchange of ideas, not just the contacts. That's the group that gives you suggestions, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent.
But that's a really good partnership for Bella Casa, because when we go to occupied consultations, typically it needs to be decluttered. And not everybody knows how to declutter. And even if a house is on the market and it's not selling, I just did one last night that occupied house, she had decluttered, but they hadn't gotten any offers. And people don't know what is expected or how a buyer looks at their house. Mm-hmm. So when I get in those situations, I've had questions like, well, do you have anybody that can help me pack up or help me organize or help me declutter? And always tell them, well, I look at these resources. I didn't have any partner that actually did what you do, Cindy. So I thought, that's when I reached out, and I thought that would be a really good addition and resource for me to provide to my clients. It's going to help you as a small business. It's going to help me as a small business. It's going to make us both look very together and organized, and like we're in this for real. It's not a hobby. Mm-hmm. So, and I found that, like you said, it's making your sphere of influence a lot bigger, because when you've got yours and then you've got your partners, it just, triples and quadruples and goes. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to, hand out your cards and help your business grow.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's get your contact information. Why don't you give us your website and your phone number, and then I'll ask you one last question.
Okay. Well, our webpage is organizingwizardfl.com. My phone number is 321-607-6069. You can email us. It's organize@organizingwizardfl.com. And we would love to hear from you. Want to go into 2019, get yourself organized, whether it's at your home, your office, your warehouse, whatever you've got. It doesn't matter. We want to get it going in 2019.
Great. And you're on Facebook as well. And so are we. And this interview is going to be living on Facebook and also YouTube. So on my YouTube channel, it's Bella Casa Staging and Redesign. It'll be on our webpage as well, Bella Casa Staging and Redesign. I think Cindy, it'll be on Organizing Wizard. Look her up on Facebook. You can find it there. And one last question for you, Cindy. Who is one famous person you would like to meet and why?
Whoopi Goldberg.
Interesting. So tell us a little bit more about that. Why?
I've always liked her in the movies, back when that's obviously how she started in TV and comedy and everything, and just her sense of humor just always made me laugh. And as you get older, and I still enjoy her, and now that she is on a talk show, whether her views are sometimes way out there or whatever, just to see her, kind of switch gears from being the comedian to being talk show and talking seriously, and she'll put her jabs in there wherever she can, and she's very vocal, and I just really enjoy. She's just refreshing, whether I agree with her or not. I just love to sit and listen to her talk. She just kind of tells it like it is,
Yeah. Sometimes that's nice.
Yeah. There's no filter sometimes, Right. And it's like, oh my God, did she just say that?
It's things that we're thinking and she says. That's what makes us laugh. Because it's like, if you say that, you're going to be like, throw a dart at you.
Yep. Yep.
Well, that's outstanding. Thank you so much for your insight and your business tools and tips and tricks. And Organizing Wizard is located in Titusville, Florida. Look for her, reach out to her if you're in the local area of Brevard County. We're on the east coast of Florida. And look forward to more podcasts and interviews on Pillars of Progress.